Hello, welcome to the Beard Out Podcast. Podcast where we talk about the two greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al Yankovic. My Aunt Lala and my dad are the hosts of the show. Thanks for listening to the Beard Out Podcast, part of the iPods Media Network. Stay weird and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, hey, how are you doing? Have a seat. Have a drink. Boy, I can glad to see ya. What can you say? Where's Lala?
Oh boy. Yeah, it is you know what it is. It's Friday morning. It's a very special, it's not really Friday morning for us, but it's Friday morning for you when you're listening to it. And it's a very special episode of the Beard Owl Podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And since this is a very special episode, my brother John is not here because he is not very special. And I have two very special people here with me today. One is in the room, one is not in the room. The call is coming from inside the house. No, it's not. But the one who's not in this room with me, Richie, my bro from Super Media Bros. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic, and just to jump off what you said earlier, if every morning was a Friday morning, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's as far as mornings go, that's probably like my third favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to think that Saturday morning is like most people's favorite.
Yeah, Saturday, then Sunday, and then Friday, because Friday you know what's happening after that. So, yeah. But yeah, all of the I mostly said that because I don't want people to think that I'm actually drinking this beer on a Friday morning, because I'm not. Richie, the beer that I picked, by the way, I have in your honor. I have the Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA, and we were so happy because they finally got them at our Total Wine, and we weren't even like really looking for them, but we got the IPA and the American Lager, so I'm like, yay, I have this now.
See, I've been wanting to try both of them because I haven't been able to find it, and like outside of getting it shipped here, which is expensive to just get it shipped here. So
we went somewhere recently. Oh, it was a barcade that had the lager on draft.
Oh, I bet that was so delicious too.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So, Richie, here at the beginning, I know people have heard your promo for your show. You've been on this show before, but tell the people what they need to know about Super Media Bros.
Here's what you need to know about Super Media Bros. We are two best friends that give comedically informative takes on movies, music, pro wrestling, gaming, and much more in pop culture. We have episodes that release every Saturday, and we like to have a good time. We mostly have a hyper focus right now on cult films and professional wrestling, only because that's a constant with us. Music is always fun to talk about. However, like right now, we've been just so, in our schedule that I'm looking in the future, like we need to like put more music on here. So it's nice to come on your show and talk about music, because we do it, but it's kind of like every once in a while. So.
Oh, well, happy to, give you that outlet. Yeah, that's the thing. I like going on other people's shows to talk about non-Weird Al things because I find that refreshing, so I totally get exactly where you're at. Well, speaking of people who have shows that talk about music, I also have my husband Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and YouTube channel. Hello, husband.
Hello. It's always such a big, long trek to get here from the living room.
I know.
But I make the run. I do it.
I appreciate the effort that you're putting into this. I really, truly do.
It's a long walk.
It's a long, long walk.
It was like well over 10 steps.
That's almost too many steps.
That's what I'm saying.
So, look at that.
I got my steps in too. It was like, I think 20 from the living room to my office.
Okay.
Get them where you can.
We're all walking. We're all moving. We're all making things happen. It's a great thing. We have talked extensively about the Infectious Groove here before. Give your brief elevator pitch just for fairness.
It's all good and fun and upbeat. If you are looking for hot takes about things that are overrated and things people shouldn't like, then you should look everywhere else except for our show. If you'd like to hear us talk about artist albums and songs that we love and that we think you should hear as well, then you definitely want to check out our show, the Infectious Groove Podcast, or go to the Infectious Groove Music channel on YouTube, where you can get myself doing videos, and Lauren is on there with me as well. And again, it's all upbeat and fun. We never do any, this is the worst singers you've ever heard, or these are the most overrated albums. Everything we do is underrated and hidden gems and things that we think more people should check out.
I love it. And in the interest of full disclosure, this whole let's have people talk about the most underrated track on a Weird Al album idea was Russ's idea. And it's been so fun. People have been having a really good time doing it. And it's just like the spirit of your show is let's talk about underrated things. And so, we're doing that now.
Yeah. For me, the idea came from the fact that, I would think that if you talk to the average Weird Al fan, they would probably say the parody on every record is the most overrated song on every record, right? Because it's the one most people know, and I say the one because it's usually only one parody that most people know from every Weird Al record. So it's like, all right, well, since we all pretty much go into a record agreeing on what we think is going to be the most overrated song, instead, let's have a more interesting discussion about what's underrated.
Yes. It's great. Yeah. So we're going to have a fun time about underrated stuff. So Richie, right now what we're going to do is I'm going to run through the tracks on Even Worse, which is the album that we're, pulling some underrated tracks out of today. And when I kind of put the call out for these, because you have been on the show before to talk about Bad Hair Day, because I know you and I are kind of in the same age bracket, so Bad Hair Day kind of hit you at the same time in life that it hit me. So I'm wondering, what made you go with Even Worse to pick an underrated track? What spoke to you about that?
Even Worse was either the first or second Weird Al album that I owned, growing up.
Okay.
So Bad Hair Day is my, go-to, obviously, like we've discussed before. But Even Worse was just a weird time in my childhood where I was into Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I was into a whole bunch of stuff. So all this kind of was on my TV. The Alvin and the Chipmunks, I think it was 35th birthday or 35th anniversary album came out, where it had all their covers and stuff, and they had a Beat It cover on there. And I remember seeing the music video for that and then seeing Eat It, and then I was like, okay, well, there's Weird Al, and that's how I got introduced to him. And then when the video for Fat came out, I lost my mind because it was the funniest thing I had ever seen as a kid. So when that album popped up in a Walmart, I got it and brought it home and listened to it and loved it. So it's not my all-time favorite Weird Al album, but it's up there and it holds a place in my heart. So
yeah, I was just curious because I was like, oh, this is a really interesting one because it's Weird Al's 5th studio album. It was released in April of 1988. And this album came at a very interesting time because prior to this, right, Weird Al was an album a year, boom, 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 83, 84, 85, 86. And then Polka Party, the album before this, did not perform well. So he stepped back and took a beat and then put this out in 88. And it is one of 2 Weird Al albums that does not have a polka on it.
Yep. Which, ironically, coming after Polka Party, it's we're going to have a Polka Party, and then we're not.
Not going to have any polka whatsoever. And, so it's an interesting album. It's one of those things you forget that it's missing a polka. And it's where would the polka even go on this? What would the polka even be about? But I don't, we don't need to think about that. I'm just going to run through the tracks on this just to give us a baseline for, these are the songs that we have from which to choose our underrated tracks. So, like you said, Even Worse opens with Fat, which is a parody of Bad by Michael Jackson. And I am one of those people that has no problem admitting when a joke takes me far too long to get. And the fact that this album is called Even Worse, took me far too long to get that was also a joke on bad. Well, this is bad, so this is even worse. It took me longer than it should have.
Such a brilliant title, too.
It's so great. It's so great. And then after that, we get into just a Weird Al original. It's Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White. Brilliant rock song. It's just like Russ and I have talked before about how, like, this is one of those songs that if it had more straightforward lyrics and were sung by anyone else.
There's two songs that immediately pop into my mind that if anybody else on earth made the song, that they would be legit rock hits. One is Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White, and the other is the title cut for UHF.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See, and I feel that way about Syndicated Incorporated.
But that was already a hit for, what's her name? Soul Asylum.
Yeah. Or do you mean
Style
Colin
parody,
and
that's
Sick?
what I thought it was.
Colin and Sick is a style parody.
No, either way. One of them, like... Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of.
That is...
That's
okay, I was like, I bet he means Colin and Sick. Yes.
Yeah, because Colin and Sick has just, like, really good, like, melody and really good just production all around. It was definitely, like, right there in the grunge.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, so
Perfectly
good.
done.
So good. I love the balance on like the at least the first side of Even Worse. It's parody original, and it's just like he doesn't do that all the time because right after Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White, you have a parody of Got My Mind Set on You by George Harrison, which is this song's just 6 words long. And I think it's delightful. I think it's wonderful. And I love the joke.
I love everything about it. Like this is an album that if we don't get into the underrated song soon, I'm going to talk for like an hour on every song on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I know.
No, I'm not saying speed things along. I'm just saying like that's why I'm reserving myself from going on about how much I love each one because I'll just go on about it forever. I have to say though, my favorite joke on this entire record is in this parody, which is the I know if I put my mind to it, I know I could find a good rhyme here.
Yes.
Because I know people who didn't get that when they heard it and they were like, why didn't he say do it? And I was like, because the joke went flying over your head. That's why he didn't say do it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, Weird Al with these jokes that keep flying over people's heads. And then he follows up, this song's just 6 words long, which, okay, I'm going to sidebar on this very quickly because I have gotten into like Twitter arguments with people about the title of this song. It's like, well, I know when he sings this song is just 6 words long, but the title, this song's just, in parentheses, 6 words long. The title is 6 words long. So people can just stop because Weird Al knows what he's doing.
Well, that, and yeah, I share a lot of thoughts with you after I put my phone down of things I don't say on social media. So let me say this. If you're picking fights with someone over the number of words in a Weird Al title, it's probably time to go out and see about fresh air and grass.
Either touch it or smoke it.
Or like
calm the hell down.
Yeah, at a minimum, talk to someone like Richie who's like seen the out of doors. You know, like talk to a person who can help you understand that there's more to life than picking on people about number of words in a title of a Weird Al song.
So Richie, you've seen the outdoors.
I have. I don't know if you've noticed, but my
I was gonna say, dude looks like a
very...
lumberjack right now. He's been outside.
I'm telling you.
You are my lumberjack
I
friend.
am Botswanian lumberjack, and I ain't never had a job.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Okay.
May I
Yeah.
interrupt right quick?
You
with
sure can.
A even worse thing that I don't think I noticed until y'all were talking about how you didn't get the title of the record being Even Worse is Bad.
Uh-huh.
I'm not wrong, right? This is the first album cover that's a parody, right?
Yes, I think it's
off the deep end.
But that's the next record after this.
that's 2
Nirvana,
records after
yeah.
this, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, 2 records after this.
this is the first cover.
Yeah, because
that's a
nothing.
parody.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I say that is because when I was a kid, Bad, of course, it sold a ridiculous amount of copies, and Even Worse came out sometime later. But when Even Worse came out, there was this. You probably have to be from the northern United States to know this, but there's a grocery chain up there called Meijer, that is basically like a Midwest Walmart. So they have records and tapes and movies and whatnot, right? So on their end cap, they used to have like the number one record on one side of the end cap, the number two record on the other side, and then all the way down. When Even Worse came out, they didn't have number one and number two. They had Bad on one side of the aisle and Even Worse on the other. And so like I literally saw people walking up and being like, wait, one of these is different. And I was like, yeah, one of these is very different.
That's delightful.
But even the hype sticker on Even Worse looks like the hype sticker that was on Bad.
Yeah, and we're looking because it's hanging up on the wall.
It's the first time ever that he did that, and then he would go on to do it more after that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's perfect, though.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
I think the one most people think of is the one Richie pointed out. Like,
for sure.
Most people think of Off the Deep End as the first, like not the first one, but I think that's the one most people would think of.
It's more iconic for sure. And with Alapalooza, they had to go ahead and like change the color of the Alapalooza cover because too many people were buying it thinking they were getting the Jurassic Park soundtrack.
Yeah.
And so there's alternate versions of the cover of Alapalooza where because people were like, this isn't John Williams. And I was like, well, you purchased something better.
I was just going to say, if you're looking for John Williams, boy, have I got a surprise for you, buddy.
Not here.
Not here, buddy.
Oh my gosh. The fourth track on Even Worse is a style parody of Oingo Boingo called You Make Me. Oh, that's such a fun song. That song took a long time to grow on me, but once it did, it's like, this is good.
I love Oingo Boingo.
It's so good. And then side one closes out with a parody of I Think We're Alone Now, the Tiffany version, called I Think I'm a Clone Now.
One of two massive hits for artists that year that were covers of Tommy James and the Shondells, both of which Weird Al parodies on this record.
Yeah.
So I think we're Alone Now was originally by Tommy James and the Shondells, massive hit for Tiffany that year.
Mm-hmm.
Moni Moni was originally by Tommy James and the Shondells, covered by Billy Idol as a massive hit that year, and Weird Al knocked them both out on the same record.
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting? Really interesting, and I'm having kind of a moment with this. All except save for Fat. So Fat is excluded from the statement that I'm about to make. All of the parodies on this are parodies of covers, except for Fat.
Yeah. The one most people wouldn't think is a cover is Most People Don't Know I Got My Mind Set on You.
Right. Is a cover.
Yeah. And the only one I would even argue with you on, not argue, it's not the right word, but like I've always had a problem with this version of La Bamba, Lasagna, because it's not really a parody of any version of La Bamba.
Right.
I mean, it was front of mind because of Los Lobos having the cover with it.
Right.
Because of the movie, right?
Right.
But I do not like his version of that because it doesn't sound like any version of La Bamba I've ever heard.
Right. That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
But yes, you're right. That was front of mind because it was a cover at the time.
Right. Oh, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. Speaking of lasagna, that's what opens side 2 of Even Worse. And fun fact about Lasagna, initially he wanted to sing it entirely in Italian.
Yeah.
I would like to have heard that, actually.
I would have liked to have heard that, but
I'm surprised it doesn't exist as like and this pairs off into Bad territory. But the first single off of Bad was a song called I Just Can't Stop Loving You. It was a beautiful ballad called I Just Can't Stop Loving You. And because they were launching it worldwide and they wanted the record to be as big as Thriller, Michael Jackson recorded that song in English, French, and Spanish. And those versions exist. Like you can get the other. So it would be funny if Weird Al got to do that because it would be another tie-in between that and the other record where like there's a multilingual song. But I would be surprised if somewhere in the Weird Al vault that doesn't exist.
One day we'll find it. One day we'll get it. Lasagna is followed up by Melanie, is a Weird Al original. And we will not speak any further on Melanie.
Right.
The last time Russ was on talking about this album, we had a whole Melanie problem.
No.
Yeah.
Apparently Al had a Melanie problem, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had a big time Melanie problem. That's followed up by the aforementioned Alimony, which is a parody of Moni Moni, the live Billy Idol version. Mm-hmm. There's some brilliant jokes in the lyrics of that song. It's so funny.
I love it so much.
And it's one of those songs I didn't get as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us like that were younger when this came out got it, but that's one of those ones where when I got older, I was like, this is great.
Funny stuff. And then the album closes out with 3 Weird Al originals. Track 9 is Velvet Elvis, which is a style parody of Synchronicity era Police, which if y'all listened to our 3-year anniversary re-rank episode, Velvet Elvis was our biggest jumper when John and I did our re-ranks of the Weird Al tracks, because we saw him do this on the Unfortunate Return of the Ridiculously Self-Indulgent Ill-Advised Vanity Tour, and then we both kind of had a moment where we're like, why did we rank this so low in the first place? This is brilliant. And then we did an episode about it, and we're like, we were real dumb. So, like, this song was literally the catalyst for us kind of rethinking and for John reworking our weird algorithm and all that stuff. And then track 10 is 1 minute and 3 seconds of brilliance called Twister, which is a style parody of the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, from the License to Ill era.
Uh-huh. Yep, it's so great. And then Even Worse closes out with Good Old Days, which is a style parody of James Taylor and that folky ilk. Good album. It's all over the place.
It is, but so was the year that it came out. Like, the year was so diverse. There was so much. Everybody was doing so many different things that year that, to me, it's a miracle that this record it sounds cohesive, because he had so much ground to cover.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So, that's what's on Even Worse. I don't want anybody to, like, tip their hand or anything like that. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to take a brief break for some ads and some promotions and all that stuff. And when we come back from that, Richie's going to start with what he thinks is the most underrated track on Even Worse. And we're going to talk about his for a while. And then Russ is going to go. We're going to talk about his for a while. And God willing, if there's time left, no, we're still going to talk about mine. We're going to talk about mine too. Don't worry about it. So as I've been saying, if there are any ads here that you hear that, like, you're not a big super duper fan of, that's probably your own fault. So, like, check what you've been Googling, or like what you've been looking up online, or like where you've been shopping, because it's all based on activity that you already do. That's why most of the time when I hear ads when listening to other podcasts, most of my ads are for like the grocery store, or
Right.
It's like I get Winn-Dixie ads all the time.
I get a lot of McDonald's ads.
So,
I
yeah.
don't know what that says about me.
There's nothing wrong with it, So, anyway, here are some ads.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron from the BFYTW podcast, here with my buddy Stevie.
Hey, what's up?
And Augie.
Hey.
And we're here to, first of all, categorically deny the rumors going around that all we've been doing lately is copying other podcasts. This is categorically untrue, and we deny it completely. Having said that, please continue to enjoy the Beard Al podcast. But when you're done, please check out our new project, the Weird Ale podcast, where we pair an ale with a Weird Al song. Pretty sure that hasn't been done before.
And we're back!
Did you like those ads?
They were so good. The best ads ever that ever happened. So, as promised on the other side of that ad break, Richie, my friend from Super Media Bros, is going to start with what he thinks is the most underrated track on Even Worse. So before you go into what the song is, I am curious about your thought process in kind of defining what underrated means in this context. So what led you to that, and then what is the song?
For me, underrated, I feel like is a song that, I mean, granted, it could be getting attention from the diehards like us. Like, we're all going to give every song pretty equal attention. But I look at underrated stuff in like a casual lens, where most of the general public that are only, here for the parodies or like some of the originals don't show as much love to specific tracks, or they don't get included when people are like, hey, you should check this song out. Hey, if you like a style parody, check this one out. Or if you like an original, check this one out. That's kind of where my mindset is with underrated or underappreciated, if you will. Yeah. So
I like it.
one, and funny enough, my underrated track on here is one that I literally had never heard anybody go on and on about until you guys did an episode on this one, and it's Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White.
Oh yeah, jam.
Rock and roll.
It is a freaking just riff-tastic song. In the fact that Vanna White is still around, it's not dated, so I don't know why this does not get regular play amongst people on like playlists or like Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. I barely have heard it. You know, like if you go to like the Weird Al Essentials, like because I have Apple Music, like you can go to like the Weird Al Essentials and they'll give you like hits or singles or the covers, style parody, whatever. This one's hardly ever there, if at all, and I'm like, why? Because it's good. I love it. The lyrics are great. The song is constructed very well.
That
and,
opening
like,
riff is righteous.
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like this is really good. Like I know why it's on a Weird Al album, but why is it on a Weird Al album? This would be a humongous hit on rock radio elsewhere. Completely. Like, I agree 100% with you guys on it. So
this song lives so rent-free in my brain and has since I bought Even Worse that I'm not kidding, and I can't, one of these is way more common than another. But if I ever hear the word Velcro, fries, or if I hear someone say anything, like if I hear a video about Star Trek saying Starship Enterprise, that whole line. So like if Richie, if you and I are going out to eat and somebody's like, do you want fries? Like in my head, just so you know, I'm going to be like, they give me some Velcro and an order of fries. Suddenly I'm bowling. Like that's going to happen in my head. Like if we happen to be anywhere and somebody's like, oh, look, that gets held up with Velcro. I'm going to be like, they give me some Velcro and an order of fries. Like it's just like I rent free in my head. The lyrics of this song live.
I remember
it's insane.
I remember like some of the first times that I was playing this one back, you know, like the first playthrough, it was before I would actually like peel the thing open to look at the lyrics. Cause like most of the time when I listen, I throw something right on it and I just go. Now, you know, with digital, you can just punch a button and like the lyrics will pop up.
Right.
I didn't want to like dig the, you know, because you remember how CDs used to like be hit or miss with the little insert? Like you'd be fighting for like 5 minutes trying to pull the thing out. Mm-hmm. I gave up on it because it was one of those. But the lyric, "I'm naked in church when I meet a dinosaur," I was like, what is this? You know, like it was.
Trying to run, but your feet have been nailed to the floor. Like I'm telling you, rent free, the whole song.
Oh yeah.
Then a midget pushes me through a revolving door. Yep. I'm just like, this is fantastic. I don't care what he's talking. Like, at that point, I was like, I don't care what else he's talking about. I love this already. It's just, this is in my wheelhouse completely.
It's great, and I love that the lyrics definitely gave him, like, the premise of the song really gave him license to just like throw out these absurd scenarios. But I love that so much of it is kind of rooted in actual dream psychology.
Right.
It's nowhere near as random as it might seem at face value. I believe when John and I did our episode on this, we kind of went off on the donuts and hot dogs are flying everywhere line, because that is so Freud dream line.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. But yeah, my feet have been nailed to the floor. Like, that's a common dream trope. So much of this is it's full of common dream tropes, except, you know, being stuck in a closet with Vanna White, which is his recurring dream trope.
And then shout out to the bridge, by the way. The and I can't slow down, I can't, like that, the shift in, like Richie, you touched on it earlier, how well constructed the song is. Mm-hmm. Like, again, I know I sound like a broken record on this. This would be a hit for anybody else. If this, you could put the same lyrics in it, and at the time it would have been a hit for at least an alternative group.
Yeah.
To do, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they hadn't coined the phrase alternative music yet, but like a college rock band could have had it. REM could have had it with this, with the lyrics as is. I was
literally going to say those guys exactly.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, petition to create time travel so we can go back and try this.
All right, so
walk
folks,
up to Michael Stipe. Here, you should record this, dude.
So if anybody listening, my loyal commenters commenting in the comments, if you would like me to set up a GoFundMe so that we can create time travel to make this happen, let me know and I will do it. And also, P.S., does anybody know how much time travel would cost?
I bet your dad does, because him and I got all hammered and talked about time travel for like 4 hours last Christmas.
That's true. You did.
Yeah.
Dad, how much does time travel cost? Thank you.
By the way,
need to
I
know.
wasn't saying that in any way of a derogatory way. That was awesome.
It's true. They had a whole big conversation
You
about
go have
time
a
travel.
4-hour conversation with your father-in-law while hammered talking about time travel. I bet my Christmas was better than yours. It was awesome. The whole time I kept being like, Jesus, this dude's blowing my mind. This is real. Like, he's totally got this whole thing figured out. I told other people. I was like, my father-in-law just explained time travel to me. It was great. I got my group chat back in Detroit. I'm like, you guys.
Time travel.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so we all agree that like REM or the like could have absolutely gotten away with.
Yeah. You're right. Like if a thing like Rock Lobster exists
Right.
in the regular popular zeitgeist, why
Yeah.
didn't this?
Well, I mean, look at the silliness of It's the End of the World as We Know
Of
It.
course. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like everybody now thinks that was like, oh, I was into that when it came out. No, you were not. That record.
Yeah,
no,
no.
you were not. You did not hear of
People that-
REM until Out of Time came out in 1991.
Yeah, and then a lot of people didn't even get into that song until Independence Day came out.
Right. Yep.
And REM is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
I love them so much.
But you agree, like Green era, right? Because Green would be around this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They absolutely could have done that. So I'm on it. Richie's got it with Vanna White. It's such an underrated song.
Absolutely underrated.
Yeah, that one I believe transcends Weird Al though. Like I think that's underrated in general.
Yes.
Like you know what I mean? Like more people
Yeah,
in
just as a
life.
song.
Yeah, like more people in life. I've told you I've played this in UHF for people and been like, isn't this a great rock song? And then like halfway through they're like, the guy singing kind of sounds like Weird Al. And I'm like, gotcha.
Right? Yeah, because UHF's a great song too.
Hell yeah, it is.
and
it's
that's
one of
like
my favorite
straight
parts.
lyrics.
It's one of my favorite parts of putting the Blu-ray in because it's right there on the title screen. I'm like, I'm just going to sit and hang out with the title screen
Yeah.
for a little while.
And again, that riff is righteous. The riff to UHF is stellar. That's a stellar rock riff.
Oh,
for sure.
so good. Man, the man is brilliant. The man is absolutely brilliant. Okay. Yes, Richie, I agree with you that Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White is an absolutely underrated Weird Al song. And I love it. I love it.
Big same.
Russ.
I had 3 songs in my head that I wanted to talk about. And I know I had to narrow it down to one. And full disclosure, the first song I was going to talk about was going to be Vanna White. Like that was absolutely the first one that I had in mind. I didn't pivot off of that. Like I came with a different choice, but I just wanted to mention that like my endorsement of Vanna White is so much so that I wanted to talk about that one first. The second one was a parody, but the one that I'm going to talk about is this to me is another one where, okay, so we've talked about before how nearly everybody people who think that Weird Al is a phase or only think of Weird Al as a parody artist, they usually would buy Weird Al records. They'd listen to like maybe the first couple of songs, like they'd buy it for Smells Like Nirvana and then maybe listen to the next couple of songs. And then most people I know never listen to like the full Weird Al records. Like people that listen to full Weird Al records end up becoming huge fans, like the 3 of us sitting here and people that listen to your show. Okay.
Yes.
So it is for all of those reasons that I think that probably the most underrated song on this record for the whole of the general public would be Good Old Days. Because if you are a Weird Al casual fan who bought Even Worse, like For Fat, and even if you got to like 6 words long and you're like, oh, I know that song too, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's any chance the general public's going to make it all the way to Good Old Days. And I think Good Old Days is so gosh darn brilliant. Like, it sounds exactly like everything that it's a parody of as far as every style. It's so ridiculously mean-spirited in a funny way, but still able to sing along with it as if it was If You Could Read My Mind or any number of songs that it is a parody of.
You're right. That's interesting.
It's insanely underrated. Like, I would bet most of the general public in life will never even come close to making it to this track because it's the last one on the record.
That was my second pick.
Yeah.
That would have been like if I hadn't gone with Stuck in a Closet. That was
good old days. Yeah. See, me and Richie, we
Such
vibing.
such a damn banger.
I like that you're vibing. I like that you're vibing on it, and I also enjoy the different thought process behind like what is an underrated Weird Al song, because being so deep in the Weird Al fan community as I am, there is no way that Good Old Days even crosses my radar as underrated, because he did it on the Tiny Desk concert. You know, this is it happened so many times on both iterations of the Ill-Advised Vanity Tour, but that's not to say I disagree with you, because it's like the
that's
general
why
public.
I explained
Yes.
my thought process first, because I was like, if I say Good Old Days, she's gonna drop her beer and like we're gonna have a big like, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me explain why I got to Good Old Days first, and then I'd say it. And I feel like, here's my thing, I feel like you could play Good Old Days for, you know how there's a cross section of Weird Al original songs that you could play for many people, but you kind of have to gear his original songs toward what you know they like, right? So if you were going to say to someone who's a Beach Boys fan, like a big classic 60s guy, you know you're going to try and play like Pancreas or Trigger Happy, right? And then they'll be like, oh, okay, like, okay, I get that he does other things besides direct parodies, right? Good Old Days for me is a track you could play for anybody of any age, and they would still go like, oh, okay, I see that he does other things that are funny. Like, you don't have to be a Gordon Lightfoot or Chapin fan or whatever to get this.
Right.
Like, anybody of any age, I think you could play this song for, and they would be like, oh, he totally does things besides white and nerdy. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah, and like you think about that's just the swath of stuff. The fact that a song like White and Nerdy and a song like Good Old Days came out of the same man's brain.
Right.
I can't.
And I just want to say that, like, a sidebar, speaking of, like, Al has such good hip hop and rap parodies.
Yes.
And he's really talented at coming up with lyrics for that stuff. As much as I have loved all of his parodies over the years, dare I say, I love his originals a little more. And
Yeah.
Yep.
The Ill-Advised Vanity Tour was literally my first time seeing him, so I was excited to see him do nothing but.
Oh my
original
God, what
style
a great first experience! Holy crap!
Yeah, and in the venue he played, which he played, obviously, like y'all know, he played like smaller, more intimate venues across like the states or whatever. The venue I saw him in over here in Lafayette, Louisiana, was a very small college amphitheater venue, and I think maybe it sat, I don't know, 1,000 people, maybe 2,000. But I loved how just low key and it was just a concert, and I enjoyed seeing him be silly, but not costume silly. It was such a fun time.
Oh yeah.
I loved his set list so much.
And I love that it changed so much on like every stop on that tour. And what's interesting is I'm not tipping my hand just yet on what I think is the most underrated track on this. However, so far there's only been, in all of the episodes like this that I've done so far, I've only called out a parody once, because it is the originals that are underrated, the ones that don't get trotted out all the time on like his regular concert tours. And Richie, I'm almost jealous that like a Vanity Tour got to be your first Weird Al concert experience, because there was something absolutely magical about it. I saw the first Vanity Tour once and then the second one twice, and I actually flew on a plane to see 2 of the 3 of those. I saw it in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and then here in Jacksonville. And the fact that like the Atlantic City one was the first Vanity Tour. I flew from Jacksonville direct to Philadelphia. I had a hotel at the airport hotel at the Philly airport. I was like, nope, I'm just staying right at the hotel, right at the airport, because Philly's like an hour and a half outside Atlantic City. So
yeah, and it's beautiful up in Philly too.
Oh, yeah.
I love it up there.
It's great. It's great. So I my brother and his wife picked me up we went to, Caesar's Palace, saw Weird Al. I got dropped back off at the hotel at the airport, and I flew home the next day. It was all told maybe a 30-hour experience. Up and down, got to see Weird Al on a vanity tour. That was my sister-in-law's first and only, to this day, Weird Al concert experience. So I don't know what that says, but she got to experience it, and Weird Al did Melanie at that particular
He opened
stop.
with it the first time I saw him on the Vanity tour.
He did. So he did Melanie on that, and that was the one song that my sister-in-law went in. She was like, I like that song. And so, she got to hear him do it. And so she was like, oh, okay, I know this one. I enjoy it. It's fun. But you got to really be into Weird Al stuff to really get the full experience of the Vanity tour. And I'm so glad you got that, Richie.
I am too. It was an exciting time. I remember we were fourth row, like right there, and it was. I enjoyed every minute of it. It's one of the few concerts that I would love to experience for the first time all over again.
Yes. Me too. Gosh, I don't know. We'll see what he does at this point now, because he doesn't have to tour anymore. He doesn't. He owes us nothing,
Right.
But we'll see if he does another kind of Vanity Tour-esque thing, or if he pulls does what other musicians around his age group are doing, and is like, I'm going to do a farewell tour now, and you're going to get what you're going to get when I get out on stage. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what I hope for.
He does it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So he said he opened with Melanie at your concert?
Yeah, in Ann Arbor, in Michigan, he opened with Melanie.
He opened with Fun Zone at ours.
That's great.
I love that.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Oh, boy.
She's not sure about that.
Dang, Siri. Why you gotta be like that?
No, she's she's gonna do what she's gonna do. Oh, but yeah, Fun Zone's always such a fun thing, because it's like, when Fun Zone hits that a Weird Al concert is about to happen, and it's good stuff. So, yeah, I agree though. Good old days, definitely overrated for underrated. It's not overrated. None of these are overrated. Underrated for especially that kind of an audience. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Word.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go here. I kind of had a feeling that somebody was going to pick Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White. And I think that is absolutely one of his most underrated songs, in general. But I was like, somebody's going to talk about that. And so I had it kind of narrowed down to 2 in my brain. And I'm just going to throw out a very quick honorable mention, because I feel like it needs to be touched upon. You Make Me, the Oingo Boingo style parody. Because I lyrically, it's so funny. And I would argue to basically anyone who will listen that this is absolutely a Weird Al love song. Right?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And that was my third pick.
Okay. See? So I had to touch
excellent.
on it. Absolutely had to touch on it.
You mentioned earlier, too, that it was the one that took a while to grow on you. It's absolutely the last song on the album that grew on me. Mm-hmm. But now, I love it now, but when the album first came out. And in my defense, I didn't know anything about Danny Elfman other than him being a composer at the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know he was part of Oingo Boingo and all that, So then when I learned more on that, I was like, oh, I get that now.
Yeah, we get that now. Oh, that's so funny. And actually, going slightly backwards in time, if you go to yesterday and listen to the episode of our other fellow Odd Pods Media Network brethren, BFYTW, Russ and I were guests on that. And one, Bridget Fonda got mentioned, and she is married to Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
So look at that. We're just making connections, crossing bridges, doing all this stuff. So this leaves me with what I think is the most underrated track on this album. And as I said, as I was going through the tracks on the album, this is 1 minute and 3 seconds of brilliance, and it is Twister.
Nice.
Absolutely Twister. it is like it's a perfect style parody. It is so funny, and I can't look at or see or even think about the game Twister without thinking about this song. Milton Bradley's got a deaf one. It's a Twister. You know, spin the spinner and call the shots.
That's another thing that even walking through the game aisle at Target, when I see like the MB, I'm always like, from MB.
There's so much in this song that is like so rooted in
just
reality.
recently listened to License to Ill front to back at the house, and it was your first time hearing the record in its entirety. Like through the whole record, where you're just like, okay, but when does Twister happen? Because like Twister is such a good style parody of that whole record. Like,
it's true. It
the only
picks
song
out
it
a lot
doesn't
of
sound
things.
like on the record is "Fight for Your Right," which is obviously there's a reason for that. It's a totally different vibe, but like it sounds like every other rap song that's on License to Ill.
It's very true. It's very true. Left hand red. That's so great.
And when you said that, one thing that I think is lost on some folks is what you said about spin the spinner and call the shots. Like Ad Rock very much had a very much more thick New York accent than Mike D and MCA did. And I like that Weird Al didn't go through I'm going to make fun of the three of you and do three different voices, but you can tell he's very much doing like the style in which Ad Rock raps, and then the gang vocals that Mike D and MCA would provide and whatnot. So I like that. It's the same thing with CNR, where when he sings that, you know for sure he's doing Jack White, but he's not like, I'm going to overdo it and make fun of Jack White. Like, he's not making fun of the Beastie Boys vocal delivery. He's just like, I'm aware that these guys all three talk in a different way, and I'm going to throw some of that out there. And that cool the shots is what reminds me of that.
It's so good. This is 1 minute and 3 seconds of nuance is what it is. It's a very nuanced parody.
Yep.
I love the Beasties so much.
Me too. My only issue with Twister from the very first time that I heard it was like, but more please. Like, I was like, from the very first time I heard Twister, I was like, why is that only a minute? Why is that only a minute? Why is that only a minute?
Yeah, why is it only a minute? Weird Al, you have questions to answer. Why is Twister only 1 minute long? And also, can I get the rest of Let Me Be Your Hog? Thank you.
Right. You would know this because, like, my brain is a little man right now. Was this his first hip-hop parody or one of the first that he did?
I think so.
I want to say, yeah.
Because you can definitely see where he grew as, like, you know, like I mentioned earlier, with like his hip hop parodies being really good. Like, you can tell, like, if it was one of his first, or if it was his first. Like,
I think
that might be why it was so short.
I think it's the first.
It is. It's got to be.
For sure, there's nothing like it on Stupid. It's Polka Party that I'm trying to think of. There's nothing hip hop-ish on Polka Party, yeah?
I don't believe so. I truly don't believe so.
Yeah.
I just
so no, I think you're
this.
totally right. Yeah, I think so, Richie. I think this is the first time he did any sort of rap at all.
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact.
That might be why it was so short, you know, because a lot of, you know, another sidebar here, with hip hop and rap and everything, most people don't really think about the fact that they've got some space to fill with lyrics. You got to come up with a bunch, you know, so that might be why it was so short.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a hip hop pastiche.
Yes.
Like, it's not a direct parody of anything. I think most of the hip hop or rap things that he's done after this have been actual parodies, right? Like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, there's a couple in there that are pastiche. But yeah, most of them are all. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them were lead singles.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, once he hit with all about the Pentiums.
Yeah, Pentiums and
White and Nerdy, you know, Couch Potato.
Yeah, there's a thing that goes around TikTok. There's a clip of a young hip hop artist, and I don't know what his name is, but he's sure got a lot of equipment behind him, so he must be fairly well known because he has a lot of expensive equipment in his studio. And he's like, if you break down the rap songs that he's recorded, bar for bar, Weird Al is a better rapper than Eminem. And like, as you might imagine, a bunch of people lose their mind over that statement. But then when you really sit and think about his lyrics, you're like, oh, like he's at least as good as Eminem.
I mean, I can't argue that, and I'm a huge fan of him.
Me too.
I love
Me
his
too.
music, and I can't argue that at all. And I think Weird Al is just a great lyricist in general. Just you
Right.
have to be to do what he does, but especially with like the hip hop lyrics and everything, he's got to somehow, and he does it every time. He's got to be just a little more quippy and a little more. There's a word I'm looking for, but he's definitely got to be a little more humorous with like the delivery of some of the
Right.
bars, because that's the thing in hip hop, is that there's like, oh, that was awesome, like you hear lyrics that make you go, like, oh, like you're really surprised, but then a lot of hip hop artists have really funny one-liners and just wordplay that they throw out there, and Weird Al is nothing but that wordplay.
Right.
So for him to just consistently be funny on every bar, come on now.
Yeah.
Well,
He's definitely up there in that conversation.
So part of the conversation on this, and I know you'll get this, Richie, is so what started this is we're talking about Twister, right? So we're talking about like way deep East Coast mid 80s style rap, right? Okay.
Yes.
I want to preface this before. Well, we already told everybody on Twitter to go touch grass. So like calm down and don't yell at Lauren about this on Twitter. So I have a deep respect for all the artists that I'm about to talk about. But Eminem could not do a song in the style of the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys could not do a song in the style of Eminem. They couldn't do a song in the style of Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy couldn't do a song in the style of Eminem. None of those people could do a song in the style of T.I. T.I.'s verse on Word Crimes, and there's others. None of those people could do. Like Eminem couldn't do a song in the style of MC Hammer. MC Hammer couldn't do a song in the style of. But you know who could do a song in the style of all of those artists?
It's Weird Al.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So and not just go. It's not. And Richie, you know this about production. It's not just going. Oh, this is produced to sound like West Coast rap. Like there's a style of lyric that comes with that, right?
Yep. There's attitude and everything.
Like the way Couch Potato, and Lauren knows this, is one of my least favorite Eminem parodies. Not because he's quote making fun of Eminem. I think he could have done better with it than he did.
I agree.
Okay, but nobody else around could even come that close to replicating what Eminem does on his thing, right? And this is the same guy that look the T.I. verse in Blurred Lines is almost the best thing in that track. Weird Al's parody of T.I.'s verse in Word Crimes is the best part of his song. Like he literally took T.I.'s guest spot on that song and made the part where he does of T.I.'s guest spot better, right? And this is the same guy who, like you said, Richie, to your credit, his first time at bat was, hey, here's what East Coast rap sounds like. And he nailed it. Yeah. So, and a lot of people too, this, Lauren, like I was one of the only people in my school listening to anything near rap at that time. There was probably a lot of kids, and this could actually speak to why the track was so short too. There's probably a lot of kids who grew up in households where Weird Al was okay to buy, but folks of a certain color were probably not okay to buy. And this may have been the first exposure to any sort of rap for a lot of kids. It's Twister.
It was for me.
Right. See, I didn't even know that. And that was my guess.
Yeah. I love it. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. Gentlemen.
Good pick.
Thank you. I think we all had good picks. And I feel like after I get through doing all of the albums in this underrated series, I have literally just decided this, but I think it will be nice. I'm going to put a playlist together with mine and my guests, all of our underrated tracks across all of these albums, and just kind of put it out there in the universe, because it's like,
That's
you know
doing
what?
the Lord's work right there.
Yeah, these are the underrated Weird Al tracks that everybody needs to hear.
Well, at least give me something to share when I go door to door with my evangelism.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you have a moment to talk about Weird Al? If they're like, no, I can be like, okay, well, can I just give you this link to this playlist?
Scan this QR code.
Yeah, scan this QR code. May the peace of Al be with you. And leave.
And also with you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And also with you. There.
And also with you. Exactly. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Oh, love it. Oh, well, guys, this is just as much fun as I had anticipated that it would be. So, Richie, first of all, thank you for being here and agreeing to, talk about an underrated track on a Weird Al album. I know it's like pulling teeth to get you to talk about Weird Al.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And so here at the end, I'm going to put links and stuff in the show notes, but tell people where they can find Super Media Bros.
You can find any past, present, and future episodes at supermediabrospodcast.com. But just by visiting the website, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or anywhere else that you like to listen to podcasts, or you can just listen right there on the website. And if you would like to leave us any sort of feedback or just talk to us, we have a little voicemail tab on the sidebar that you can just click and record right there at your phone or desktop. Do it.
Hooray! I love it. I love it. Russ, same question.
Best bet is to go to YouTube, type in Infectious Groove Music. And actually, if you type in Infectious Groove Music Weird Al, you will find all of the videos that we've already done on Weird Al. Like, it'll serve it right up to you. You can hit subscribe. And then if you like Weird Al, you like tons of different types of music. We cover tons of different types of music on the channel. And Lauren usually has at least one every week, if not 2 videos on the channel. So if you like Weird Al and you like Lauren, then you should be subscribed to the channel, Infectious Groove Music. If you just put in Weird Al with that, it will come up with all the videos we've already done on him.
Yeah. And they've been fun. I got to play the Weird Al pinball machine.
That was a cool video, by the way. I loved seeing that.
Thank you. It was great. It was great. I'm going to go back and play it more. But anyway, this has been great. And I'm just about done with my Broken Skull India Pale Ale Stone Cold Steve Austin beer, which I'm very glad that I was able to find, because I like this much better than the American Lager, but I'll drink the American Lager if that is the only Stone Cold Steve Austin beer available to me at the time. Anyway, thank you, Richie. Thank you, Russ, for being here today to talk about Even Worse. This was an even better episode than it's exactly as great as I had anticipated it being. And folks, next week, right here on Beard Al, John and I are going to be talking to none other than Andy Merrill, who was the voice of Brack from Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. And I'm very excited about it. I'm a little nervous, but I'm very excited. So next week, not so much Weird Al, but totally Brack. It's going to be a Brack attack. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Sorry, we got a 1. We got a... That's so again.